Good morning. I'm Eli Juicy Jones. This is Orbital Vaping Headquarters. Today we have Joe of All Vapes. We have news, chat. We're going to hear his vapor story. We're going to have a good time and chat with you. Stick around. VapeAM. It's Joe of All Vapes. I'm going to unmute him and we're going to talk to him about his story. It's going to be awesome. What do you think? There is Joe of All Vapes right there, guys.
That is the voice action right there, bro. I couldn't have sung that better myself. What is happening, everybody?
Hi. It's nice to see you. My pick on the voice this year, 3 of the 4 I picked are still in the game, unfortunately.
I'm going to have to take Hulu for that one, man.
Yeah, I'm a big voice addict, actually. I love it. So, everybody, I hope you're having a great day. I'm Eli Juicy Jones. This is Joe of All Vapes, and we're just having a nice interview day. We're going to ask him his vapor story and just talk about nicks and knacks. I want you guys to say hi and tell us what you're vaping on and anything about your vapor story that you want. This is all about quitting smoking, helping people stay off the cigarettes, and inspiring people based on our own stories to stay off those cigarettes. So if you're quitting smoking, or if you are smoking, or if you're dual smoking, or if you're vaping, or whatever, you're welcome here. We're going to talk about this.
Amen.
How are you doing there, buddy?
Doing good, man. I am alive and awake, and birds are chirping. I got my coffee, my Christmas peanuts and butter. I'm ready, bud.
Morning sunshine, liquid sunshine.
not in the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, I'm hearing that you have echo, so we're going to fix that somehow. Let's see. So we can't have echo now. Let me just see what's echoing. Something is. Huh. Say something, Joe. Say something now.
Okay, I'm unmuted now.
I wonder what that is. I'll go into the audio settings. Those guys in the audience, they're so great. They always police us and help us with the technical stuff. I was just lamenting to Joe that it never seems to be the same twice, and I'm not sure why. Let's see. Let's see. Let me try that. Say something again, Joe. It says you're muted. Now say something.
How are we doing now?
They're going to tell us. It'll probably be 40 seconds. Yeah, we'll get this all straightened out in just a few seconds. Good morning from Australia. Good morning, Stephen. Good morning, Chili Dog. Ballpark, Pennsylvania. Double D's, everybody. It's so great to see you. Tommy Vapors. Dude Mang. We'll get whatever technical things we have going on taken care of at some point.
Figured out.
Yeah, totally.
Good morning, everybody that I can't see.
I'll change my playback device. We'll see if that works. It could. It's not. I can't believe I'm having trouble with this. I'm so sorry.
It's just Saturday morning improv, bro.
There we go. It says good now, no echo. Okay, good. All right, sir. Let us resume.
Alrighty, let's do it.
It is great to see you. Everybody, Joe is another Instagrammer. He is also on YouTube. His links are down in the bio, by the way. And he and I met on Instagram because he is also hooked up with the Van Gogh Vapes people. And I just started reaching out to other people that are going to the West Coast Vape Expo on July 10th, 9th, and 10th. And we're both going to be there live. I'm hugging everybody. Yeah, we're going to be there. Everybody come and meet us. We're going to be hanging out at the Van Gogh Vapes thing all weekend. And we don't just want to stand there. We want to meet you. So...
intermingling, social interaction. That's what it's all about, guys.
Yeah. And I'm going to bring my camera, and so I'll take pictures, and we'll post all the pictures that we take with everybody with your tags and everything online. And I got some cards ordered, so I'll be able to hand you little cards. You'll remember all my names and contact me later, so you can tell me you're at the show. And I'm going to try to give away as much of anything I can as possible. I have a little bit of Texas Tough I'm going to give away, and hopefully we can wrangle Van Gogh Vapes into giving away some Van Gogh Vapes. Probably 100% chance they'll do that.
They're good peeps.
They're the least stingy company I've ever dealt with, and I am so. It's funny because I'm not a shill for Van Gogh Vapes. They don't pay me to sell their stuff, what they do is send us a little piece of whatever you guys buy back to us to the channel as a donation, and they freaking say yes to everything I ask. So I love them. They can do no wrong to me. They're just nice people.
They got a quality aspect going on. Their juice is actually pretty decent.
Yeah, it's my favorite. I think it's great. To me, I get so much juice over the last 2 years. I can't tell you how much juice I get. Their juice is better than 90% of the juice I get by far. All of it, everything I vape by default is their stuff because
Belgian waffle, baby.
Oh God, that stuff is so good.
There you go.
I've only got about 90 mils of that left.
Yeah, right. I just pour it in my coffee in the morning.
They just sent me the new raspberry and the 2 new frozen flavors and the 2 new bakery flavors yesterday. I didn't ask for this.
Yeah, so I got to hook up Sadiq on that one.
Apple Fritter is Foxhound's favorite. He's out there. I know you're going to love that. It hasn't been reformulated, I don't think. This banana cannoli has been reformulated to have more banana, and this used to be in the International Delights line. And look, I still have part of my 240 of the original formula of cannoli, and I'm going to compare them.
Oh no, I've got that one too. I've got all of the originals. I've got to hit up. I just got in.
And then the new frozen stuff,
the reformulated stuff with the new labels and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely hitting up Sadiq when we get to the show. I'm like, dude, you're gonna kick down, right? He's like, without question.
Oh yeah, the new one is going to be the bakery stuff, and it's my favorite. They've been doing all the frozens and the fruits for like 6 months, and those are my least favorite, even though they're good. So now we've got the new International Delights and new bakery lines. I'm excited. Those are mine.
The desserts are pretty much up my alley right there. And I'm hitting them up on that stuff for months. Have you still not tried the frozen cream of ice?
No.
Yeah.
Wait, frozen ice cream? I've tried four of the new frozens. Frozen mango, frozen Ophelia, frozen waterberry, and frozen something I forgot.
Frozen Ophelia is probably my favorite menthol vape like to date. I haven't tried the waterberry. It's definitely on my list. I get so much. I'm like you. I get so much juice. It's like, okay, I've got so many mods. I've got so much juice. Which one is going to be my AD? But literally, I mean, of all the juice that I get from pretty much anybody, I've probably got about half a dozen favorites. And then other companies call me up and they're like, Joe, what do you think of that stuff? I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And I'll tell you, I have other favorites though. I love Stifler's Mom from AZ Swag Sauce. That's really cheap, inexpensive stuff. It's good. Their stuff you have to steep it. I still love them more from Banco. And what's another? Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was going to say other company. I love this Volare VIP.
I've been trying to hit them up to get some of that. What's the flavor profile?
It's maraschino cherry, baby.
Really?
Yep, and it's the only cherry vape that I absolutely love. And it doesn't taste like a cherry muffin, doesn't taste like a cherry ice cream, doesn't taste, I mean, it's like cherry cream, yeah. But it's delicious, and cherry should taste like garbage, and it doesn't.
Awesome. Awesome.
And and the sad thing is it's expensive and comes only in 100 ml shiny bottles, so you have to pay for it. But I've been lucky. They sent this to me twice. I kind of begged the first time. I was like, man, I am on the hunt for a good cherry vape. And they sent it, and I told them the honest truth. I was like, that's the best cherry vape I've ever had. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sad that it's kind of expensive, but let me know next time you do a marketing thing, and I'll help you again, because I think it's delicious as shit, and I'll recommend it.
Clearly, you actually pay for quality on some companies.
It's so good. It tastes like cherry cream, and with maybe a little vanilla. And they use this. One of the things I always want to point out is that the way these flavors work is from spectrochromophotography. And so they use the same flavors in these that the bakers use and medicine makers use. And so that's why bad cherry tastes like cough syrup, because it's literally the same exact brand flavor with the number and the chemical profile. And if you make different choices, you can make it taste differently.
I've been telling juice manufacturers that for years, dude. I've actually had people call me up because I have a culinary background. I actually have a degree in culinary art. So I was, I kind of gigged myself from the get-go for having a little bit of a turning palates to be able to pick out flavors. I had a good buddy of mine runs an e-juice company. He sent me a flavor. He's like, dude, what do you think of it? I was like, is there a little bit of hint of banana in there? And he's like, Joe, how the hell were you able to pick that out of there? You know what I mean? I said, dude, I've sent this to several people who had not been able to pick out the flavors indiscriminately in this stuff. And I was like, I say, that's one of the reasons why I got picked as kind of like a juice reviewer from the get-go was quality flavors, and kind of like you were talking about, if people more pigeonhole themselves in actual quality of the product that they're coming out with, instead of just cherry picking the same crap constantly and then coming up. I mean, from the
same flavors over and over.
You know what I'm saying? From the very beginning, how many brands out there have a strawberry cream flavor?
Or a strawberry donut last year.
All of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And eventually it was like the Pebble cereal, and it was some other, you know.
Yeah, and it's funny because Philip Rock, of course, is the, you know, everything he does gets copied instantly. And
exactly.
He's so good, his stuff is really good or whatever, and then you're just like, okay, and then everyone wants to DIY, and the DIY industry is great, but where they fail is where the DIY industry pretends that DIY is always good enough for mass production. And I'm not that popular among the DIY crowd, I think, because I really don't think most DIY is as good as the stuff from, say, Van Gogh, made in a giant vat, titrated precisely, and you know, it's like, I don't think, I've tried. You and I should do an experiment together, and we've been doing this on this channel for a while, and I'll give you some of this when we meet up, and I'll give you some cranberry that I'm using.
Okay.
I want to develop this cranberry into a signature flavor for the channel. I even have a name for it, Brother from Another Mother. But
I love it.
I want to get this cranberry set up as a cream or a donut, doesn't matter. I've been using it with a donut base and with a cream base, and I'm experimenting with a cheesecake base, and I like the donut best. But anyway, I want to know what you think and what strengths you would use it in. It's made right here at the Pike's Place Market, and it just says everything about the Pacific Northwest. That's an iconic place. They make PG flavorings. It's a tea shop. And when I bought this stuff, it's funny because the lady said they had to send it from their warehouse where they make all the tea bags and everything up to me because it wasn't on the floor, but they had it once. And she said, oh yeah, the guy who does all the tea and stuff and makes these, he uses that for his vape too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I was like, oh wow, I love that guy. Like, this is the best one out of all the ones you have. Like, the garlic one wasn't good.
I've never actually tried a cranberry vape. You know, it's really ironic that you bring that up because for ages I've been trying to think of like a cranberry cream flavor. I'm really big into kind of that tart but still fruity nature.
Yeah, me too.
You know, the subtleties of some juice you can really pick apart. And one of my favorite things to do when I talk about new flavors on my shows is that if the profile, which is basically what on the bottle, matches the consistency, which is the layers of the flavors, you can pick that stuff out. And you basically got yourself a winner. And that's what I wanted, is basically one flavor that's signature. I'm not going to steal your idea. You know, but I mean, it's
let's do it together.
Dude, I love it.
I know someone who can make it for us.
It's done right there. I think I might.
Just takes time to develop a flavor till we're like, wow, and then whatever.
I'm telling you, man, a couple of PNW boys, little known, will rock the world together, baby. Actually come out with a quality product that people might actually be proud to vape and represent.
And people have been asking me for years. I just am too lazy to get it done. But I know what I want to do. And nobody else has cranberry, and I can honestly say it comes from there, and I can source it. I've got no testing on it, though, so there's a star on it. Whatever.
Well, you know, all in due time, my man.
Disclosure.
There you go.
Let me just for a second say thank you to everybody who tuned in. If you just tuned in, I'm Eli Juicy Jones, and this is Joe of All Vapes, and we're having an interview day, getting his vape story, talking about vaping, and hanging out with you. I want to say hi to Steven and Dude Mang and Stars and Clouds and Haley's Crazy Daddy, who got your prize in the mail. That's so cool. He's vaping on the juice I sent. Remind me which one I sent you, Haley's Crazy Daddy, because I remember I sent you a bottle of Van Gogh, but I was trying to send everything I had, and I forget exactly which one I sent you. It was either Cactus Django or a bottle of Frozen Ophelia. I forget. Hey to Double D's, how are you? Who's making some decals for the channel? Chris Denton, it's great to see you. Chili Dog. Josh Rhodes, Dayla. I can't say hi to everybody. Thank all y'all for coming on. And don't forget that you can join us on Discord. So click on the link in the bio and then register for free with your email. And it's a chat service that we use for gaming, but I also use it for the channel. That's where we chat. If you want to talk to me, go to Discord. I'm there 24 hours a day. And if you tag me in a chat, I will eventually see it and say something. Am I finished yet? Jesus.
So much awesome you can fill a show with, my man.
Feels like I just have to say that crap over and over. And if I don't say it at all, then my viewership just goes, wah. I'm like, wait, I said it too much. It goes, wah.
Yeah, you pick up the phone and start busting out your riff. I know how it goes. Okay, so
Nice.
vape story. You want to know how I
Yeah, tell
quit?
us how long you've been vaping and how long you smoked and how that happened and how you felt and everything about how you came to vaping and
So I smoked for years off and on, actually, probably from the age of oh shit, say 17. Um, and it was just kind of off and on and off and on. At first, it started out, I think, as like a lot of young folks do, like kind of that intimidation for high school, and then they kind of push along in certain instances through life as you grow up and you mature. You got the stresses and the relation and the social drinkers and the social smokers and stuff like that. It just kind of moves areas. When I got married and my wife and I actually moved in together, the stress smoking started picking up. So she kind of hit it up every now and then as a social smoker. And I used to tell her, I'm not going to kiss you, kind of thing. But the stress and the anxieties, I think, of life sometimes compound upon a lot of people. And if you look, and this is just kind of a total offshoot here, if you look at like the number of soldiers coming back from duty, with the PTSD and stuff like that, I'm telling you right now, every off, every off duty soldier, I should say, who is basically not in a combat situation and just trying to, live their life. All of them smoke. They don't, if they're not drinkers, they all smoke. And I know a ton of them. I have some in my family. So it's the same type of situation. I try and help out the veterans as much as possible with that kind of situation to convey the message. And it eventually comes down to mentality, I think. I mean, it is that comfort. It's like having your first cup of coffee in the morning. You take a puff on the cigarette. Media pounds that kind of stuff too. Having a cigarette in the morning, having a cigarette after sex, that kind of stuff. It's become such a large part of our culture that it just made sense. So at the end of a busy day, wife and I would get home, we'd go out back, we'd bust out a cigarette, and it was just one every now and then. And then eventually it was one on the way to work, and then it was one on my lunch break, and then it was one after my lunch break. And it was the stress smoking for me was started to compound. Well, I have seasonal asthma. My grandmother died of emphysema because she smoked at the age of 14.
that's awful.
And yeah, it
It's a
is.
hard way to
It's
go.
terrible. And for over 20 years, I watched her suffer with. And when she finally passed on, it didn't it didn't help of the situation, obviously. But I don't think people even now fully realize the extent of what cigarettes can do, the harm. And I mean, it's insane. It's intense because the vaping industry, a lot of the I'd say more ethical ends point out those facts. I mean, we know what cigarettes do. They've been calling them cancer sticks since my dad was a child. You know what I mean? So I can't hear you, brother. I think something's muted.
Oh yeah, totally. That's not a secret.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But it kind of got down to that point. So about say probably late 2014, wife and I looked at each other, and maybe a little bit earlier than that. It was like, okay, I got an 8-year-old stepdaughter. I don't, she's coming out and looking at us saying, smoking's bad, right while we're smoking, and I'm like, I'm trying to blow it away,
Good
away from
girl.
the vape, and that kind of stuff. I'm like,
Good
okay,
girl. Good for her. You give her a hug for me.
exactly. And we're really trying to kind of bust forward and trying to have a little bit healthier lifestyle. So, and I realized that vaping's been around since the 2000s. I mean, just originally I started smoking with the blues. Remember the blues?
Yeah,
Where
absolutely. Totally.
everybody started with those, right? And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I'm gonna go to a vape shop, and there was around the corner. I'm looking at like the ego pens for $80 a pop. Back in the day, I think I went through 3 of those because the batteries basically fizzled out on me after a good 6 months. And I started really trying to pay attention. I was like, I'm super bored with my. I didn't have anything going on with my life at the time,
You're
so I
bored with
started,
yourself. Yeah.
when I started looking more into the vaping industry, I realized this is growing. Something is going on here. Something massive is starting to move along really quick. And it was about that time that just put into, like a lot of people do, I just put into Google and went, okay, vaping. And then I started seeing all these vape reviewers, all these new vape companies, Cosmic Fog, and Charlie's Chalk Dust, and all the old schoolers, all the originals. I'm like, whoa, where did this world come from? where have I been this whole entire time? So I started really paying attention to that at the time. Right before I met my wife around 2012, I was a competitive bodybuilder, believe it or not. So I had, a lot of the health conscious
You're a
nutrition.
badass.
You know what I'm talking about? It was just that. Yeah. It actually, if you go way, way, way down on the bottom of my Instagram page, you'll actually see half naked pictures of me posing. So
Sweet.
there's proof for you right there, dude. So originally, I already had people tell me,
Dude, we're already on the way to growing your Instagram to 100,000 already. You just gonna start taking those clothes off.
I told people, I was like, they were telling me, dude, you know better than this. What are you doing smoking that crap? So I finally just kicked them, and it's hard to find a different way to relax and tackle your issues without trying to find something to numb them. You know what I mean? So okay, what is a better, healthier alternative to vaping? Was basically the escape for me from that. Mentally, it became attractive because I looked at the facts. I mean, a regular cigarette has up to 4,000 ingredients, and that's before it is preserved for retail and for shipment all over the world. After that, it's got 5,000 plus. And I mean, you can cram this stuff down people's throats. They're not hearing it. I mean, they're still not hearing it, and it's miraculous to me. I really don't understand that whole concept. They've been around for so long, and I'm not one of those people that go out there and say, you know what, I want to destroy people's memories and this and the other. I totally understand being an adult and having the right to make a conscious choice in it. That is why I don't shove it down people's throats, but instead what I do is I try and convey to them the message. You got to look at an e-juice here. This has a total of maybe 4 to 5 ingredients. Nicotine is definitely one of them, and you can judge whether or not you want to, you think that the addiction to that is going to, supersede your health in a measure of whether vaping is better than smoking or one way or the other or something. But I know for a fact that it is. And there's a lot of people out there that will tell you, and especially other vape reviewers, I'm not naming names, but will go out there and tell you that, you can't go out there and tell people vaping is healthier. I know it is. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out there and tell them that it is healthier, but it is also a healthier alternative. And there is the market attraction, which gathers the large expos and stuff like that, and I don't want to get off on a tangent here, but the point of the fact is that when I discovered vaping, I realized I could breathe better. I had more energy. I was able to regulate what I was doing with different amounts. I started out at 24 milligrams of nicotine in my vape, consistently, and I felt nothing at that point. You know what I mean? So I gradually started to knock it down. I did the 12 and like a lot of vapors do. And now I'm vaping at 3 milligrams at the most. If I hit up a 6, I'm having head spins. You know what I mean? But it's grown into this popularity of, just balancing out the mishmash between the healthier alternative aspect and the large industry aspect of what it can become. And what I found that I'm trying to do, making sure that the message stays clear. It is a healthier alternative. It's out there for people to enjoy while they are trying to better themselves and their bodies' health. Convey that message, keep that message, because that's what really has helped me. And it's really hard to get sucked down into that corporate mentality of what people want it to be. That's not what it should be. What it should be is a healthier position. That's where I turned.
Yeah, it's about harm reduction.
Yeah, exactly. It's about harm reduction.
Harm reduction.
My wife stopped smoking. She got onto vaping. I got her pretty little. I got her. This is the wife's vaping right here.
Oh, the video chose to skip. No, it's back. Hey, yeah, I recognize that thing.
It's I don't know if is it cool to say the name on.
Oh my God! Of course. Are you kidding?
Okay. This one is the Mini Volt. I think it's by Council of
Yeah,
Vapor.
the Mini Volt. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, that's her speed right there. But
I have something similar to that. I have this little tiny thing that I love. I think everyone should have a tiny little 50-watt mod like that, and then a little mouth to lung thing. That's like the most killer thing. I have a Dopo Ember, which is slightly smaller than that, if you can believe it. It has a 2500 in it. No, a 2450 in it, and built in. I took one apart. And it's really great. It's like a really great little tiny thing. Anyway, that's really cool. I'm glad she likes that, huh?
She loves it. I mean, she can fit it in her purse. You know, she doesn't hit it up that often, but when I get a new flavor in, she's like, "What are you vaping? What are you vaping?" I was
Give me
like,
that
"Oh
flavor.
no, I got this going on," or maple donut or something. Like, "Oh, you better fill up my tank." You know what I'm saying? So, just being able to carry that message around. People know that I vape. My friends and family know that I vape. It's nothing that I hide. You know, I'm a grown man. I'm a grown adult. So I try to keep that message true. You know, my daughter, sometimes, I'm blowing a vape out in the garage and she'll come, I hate to say this. She's like, "Wow, that smells really good." I said, "Out, not until you're 21."
Yeah, but that vape is indistinguishable from room air.
Oh yeah, big time.
There's no more anything in that than there is when a car drives by and it's like, "Oh, what's that smell? Dad, did you fart?" All the same things.
Yeah.
That's the science. And I just want to underscore something about what he is saying. You know, he was saying the same message that we always bring is that one, it's hard to quit smoking. Two, smoking is deadly. There's no other way to mince words. It's thousands of times more deadly. Vaping is a less dangerous way to get nicotine. And here's what I tell kids who ask me what vaping is. I say, listen, there were lies about smoking and being cool and smoking. We got tricked into starting something that's really addictive and really deadly. And that's how the world used to be. Now they invented something that will save our lives. And this is for grown-ups, and it's just a way so it doesn't stink. So for you, it just smells kind of like whatever. Don't ever start this because it's not dangerous. I don't really ever say it that way because then they get weird. But I'm like, it is dangerous for kids. But I'm like, this is like a dangerous, addictive thing, and it's only for us to breathe, for us, because it'll let us last longer because they lie to us. So, and kids go, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, that's for grown-ups, and it's a thing that we shouldn't do, but it just doesn't stink anymore." It's like, and then show them some cigarettes, guys. Like, go take some kids around cigarettes and go, "That's what I used to do. We need to help them vape."
Exactly. No, and you got to be honest with kids. I mean,
Yeah,
we are
you do.
adults and we know what we're doing. We understand what we're doing. We can afford to actually enjoy vaping while we understand what it is. I mean, let's not knock the bullshit. I mean, it is a nicotine delivery system. That's basically what it was from the get-go.
Yep.
But if you actually look at the retrospect of what it is and what it can do and what it can be, that's basically the main message that needs to be conveyed. So being honest with kids, she's like, "Well, if it's so much healthier than cigarettes, why can't I vape it?" I mean, that's a typical kid mentality, and it's like, okay, kids aren't bullshit. They actually want to know the honest to God truth. And it's like, okay, look, here's the deal. This is, this is why it's healthier. This is, numbers is basically how she came to understand. There's so many ingredients. I said, the stuff that comes out of the back of the car, that's what you're smoking on when you suck on a cigarette. And she's like, "What?"
Thousands of times worse. Yeah.
And I tried to tell her, I said, "Look, honey, when you're an adult, you can make good decisions. You can also make bad decisions, and nobody can do anything about it. So as your dad, I'm going to tell you this is
I made a bad decision.
So yeah, it's a bad decision to smoke. Vaping is better, but you can make that decision when you're a grown up.
And it's good for your kids to see that you make decisions and they're not all good. What the hell is wrong with that? I mean, why would you want your kids to think that they're never going to make a mistake? And you can show them how to fix a mistake. One way to fix a mistake is never to make that mistake and to show the repercussions. You're like, I might die early.
What's the luck in that happening?
Yeah, I know, right? I love that though. There's such a huge response to your that you're talking about veterans too. I'm a huge fan of veterans too. I'm so left wing, but people forget that I'm a real patriot and that every single member of my family, every generation back to the Revolutionary War, has fought for this country and shed blood on its soil and elsewhere. So I'm a real patriot, and I agree with you. I think that we have to take care of vets, and we especially need to get them on freaking vapes and get them on vapes in the field. For Christ's sake, they're easier to maintain. They don't smell as bad. They don't get identified by enemies as quickly, etc. I'm telling you, this is a better, safer thing, even for a soldier.
Well, it is, and I mean, and it's a good thing you mentioned your personal political mentality, and that's actually something I never like to delve into. I don't talk politics. I don't talk religion. I'm fairly opposite in a lot of directive that you are. I was raised more conservative, but the measure is finding the common ground that we can come to understand on is preventative measures and things like that, and just what you're talking about. I mean, sense makes sense. Common sense makes sense. There's no way to get around it.
It makes no sense to allow people that kill people for a living to sell products called cigarettes and for them to control the government when there's a healthy alternative that one government in the world, the British government, is talking sense about. I'm a firm believer that government should be used by people. for the people, and the FDA needs to be taken back by us. It is the only way that keeps us safe. They're the ones who keep poison labels on things, who test products. Like, we need the FDA. We don't need to get rid of it. Getting rid of it is what we have now, unregulated Chinese garbage in our market.
No, I agree. I agree.
But let's let the FDA make some rules like the British government does. Oh my God, it's like we just need to be giving vets vapes. You know, the 22 or 25% of people that are given a vape. At a study at the Mayo Clinic, they gave a bunch of people who were there for overnight surgeries who smoked. They gave them a vape. They said, oh, while you're here, use this. And you can keep it, but you don't have to use it afterwards. But just don't smoke in the hospital. So they vaped in the hospital. 25% of them never touched a cigarette again.
Imagine that.
That is better. That is better than all other methods of quitting smoking combined by 2.
Well, like, who would want to be honest with you? I mean, there's so many old school measures of you know, I mean, the grapes stink, or it turns your teeth yellow, or you got the you know, the stereotypical older ladies, you know, with the 1970s beehive hairdo that have the stained fingers in between these two. You know what I'm saying? Just permanently like that. I mean, as an 80s child, I grew up with that kind of visual mentality.
Yeah, me too.
But it's you know, you're absolutely right. I mean, you've got the flavor issue. You've got the fact that it allows you to breathe a little bit better. I mean, smoking. I mean, look at the main word, the descriptive smoking. You're inhaling burnt
particles. Exactly right, isn't it?
Microscopic burnt particles of dried leaf. How could you possibly think that your body is going to filter that crap out worth a damn in comparison? And I mean, there are still people that are married to that simply because they're stubborn. I say, okay, you know, fine, I understand. I don't wish you any harm. You're obviously old enough to make whatever decision. I don't want to take your decision away from you. I just want to educate and plant the seed.
But let's not confuse our biases and our prejudices and our ignorance with what we should be telling kids and other people. Let's just have our opinions and not expect everyone else to act on our opinions the way we want. Why don't we let science do things? Something happened in the 90s where Baptists took over the entire fucking country, and now everyone's opinion has to be honored, even if it's insane. So now what we should be doing is listening to the scientists, and the scientists all say that humans need to stop fucking burning coal now, and that we also need to stop smoking cigarettes. We could save 1 billion people. 1 billion people. 1 billion. This century, not soon. A whole century. I don't want to act like there's 1 billion people right now, but I mean, every single day, I think every 10 seconds, someone dies of lung cancer.
Yeah, it's a disturbing average, but you know, I mean, like I said, I mean, it's being able to discern the actual numbers and you know, and just even if you don't want to go by that, that's fine. I understand personal bias and individual mentality. I don't want to knock people down for what they believe. And there's no way you're going to. You can't force somebody to believe something. You know, the respect for having other people's opinions based on health and smoking and vaping, whatever. I understand that, and that's fine. We can still be friends. But, you know, at least accept the possibility that there is different, healthier, or better alternative to go with. And that's something that I try to do in a very non-threatening manner. That's where a lot of the drama kind of sets in, I think, with a lot of well, people, factions, industries, you know, stuff like that. Leave it out there, throw it out there. It's kind of a hard line to be able to cross between should we do this for the people or should we allow the people themselves. You know, maybe Darwin had it right when he was talking about survival of the fittest. You know, I mean, it's just.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's not a way to run a country. That's
no,
just
it's not.
That's a thing on a piece of paper.
And I completely understand that. You know, and again, I don't want to get political or anything like that. You know, we'll go back to the whole health aspect of what it is.
Well, that's the one thing that's important is public health. And the thing is, the purpose of government is to enforce public health. And we don't allow people to dump poisons into the river. And we shouldn't allow people to get away with selling dangerous products. And if they're going to spend millions and millions of dollars to suppress products that compete with them, that help people save their lives. This is the problem, is that these products are unregulated and are seen by fake news. You know, this fake news problem is gigantic. I don't know why. Only tobacco really has an interest in cancer research, have interest in keeping people off vape. So it's weird to imagine them spending as much money as they do, you know, on defeating vaping and filling people's heads with so many lies. I mean, you know, the crap you read is insane. And like even Harvard has been completely corrupted. I'll never take a Harvard study at its word again after reading what they've done in the last 2 years about vaping. It's just asinine.
Well, I mean, you heard about Avail Vapors recently, didn't you? Being bought out by a massive cigarette company.
Maybe I did, but I can't remember which cigarette company. Avail? That's not their name I remember.
Maybe I've got the name wrong. I mean, that's totally.
I remember this event you're talking about, and I feel totally ignorant now because I remember turning to my girlfriend and talking about this, like, "Oh my God, so and so just bought."
It's basically one of the biggest e-cigarette retailers in the country. They're based in the South.
It's not Enjoy, is it?
No, it was just it's basically a retail company.
Someone will tell us in the comments. But go on.
Yeah, it was a mom and pop kind of a thing that just expanded massively. One of the biggest e-cigarette small companies in the country. They were eventually bought out by a massive tobacco company. So, you know, again, you got kind of that backwards issue going on. Okay, so you've got, you know, a company, let's just say Philip Morris, which Philip Morris is doing. So I mean, it's
Lord, yeah.
You know, they're funding for cancer research. Kind of backwards, isn't it? You know, so then they go out and they buy a vaping empire and basically make it their own. Now they've got a new vaping device
that contains tobacco and is disgusting. It's disgusting.
You know, it's
will cause cancer.
It's so confusing because it takes it away from the main interest of what vaping is supposed to be. I don't get too riled up over this kind of stuff, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't get on, you know, on rants on social media or anything like that, because everybody already knows what's going on. If they don't know what's going on, which is a large portion of them don't, then I'll bust it out and I'll tell them, okay, this is really what's going on. But you have to pay attention to realize who is doing what. The vaping industry did not originate from tobacco companies. They originated from people like you and I. They came to understand that there was a healthier alternative. When the bass-ackwards in corporations of tobacconists and everything like that started looking at it from a monetization point of view, then they started to realize that they could start manipulating consumers of the vaping market to buying into this belief where it's actually the money is all going back to the tobacco industry. The same people who basically flipped a snit and cried and whined over not getting their cut from the FDA regulations a couple of years back. You know, I mean, it is so confusing. And I mean, we're still trying to fight that fight. We're still trying to separate all that stuff to try and keep what we do true. It is, imagine trying to convey the message of harm reduction through vaping now that the tobacco companies are coming out with their own vape products. How are we going to make that happen? Hit mute, brother.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, America has a problem. We need to insert the word human beings into the 14th Amendment, and then America can start to repair and build and heal. We just insert those two words, then all of a sudden corporations aren't people and free speech isn't money. It will just negate those Supreme Court decisions. And as soon as those two things happen, they'll be spending less money on lies. I don't think that it's wrong for people to be able to send lobbyists to Washington, but I do think it's wrong that they're allowed to spend willy-nilly, and I as a taxpayer can't download a spreadsheet with every fucking dime spent by every fucking person in Washington. I want to see a spreadsheet. You can spend whatever you want, but I want a spreadsheet that I click and it says CSV, because I paid for you. So fuck that.
What, man, conservative or liberal, I don't care what anybody is, you're never going to get that.
I'm just saying that is a principle that I strive for. That will fix this country. I mean, I'm not saying this is a king for a day idea, right? Like that would solve our problem for now with money. They didn't put the word human beings in the 14th Amendment, and corporations have abused it to sue to be called people, so that then they could go again and sue and say money is speech. When we insert the 14th Amendment was there to establish in law in our Constitution that blacks are also people. So we forgot to put in that this amendment only applies to people. Corporations have sued on that amendment probably 36 times and won now, finally, in the 80s and then the 70s before that. And it has been sued, people have sued based on 14th Amendment civil rights claims, I think 2 or 3 times. that has been abused by corporations, and that single loophole in our entire Constitution has caused so many fucking problems. I'm on a single-handed crusade to change the 14th Amendment to include human beings, and then let anything else happen. It doesn't change anything else, you know. It just means that corporations are not people.
Well, we plant the seed and then we move from there, man. That's how crusades start.
Because if we do that, then we don't have to have new decisions and redecisions and relitigate everything or whatever. We just address the problem there. It'll never happen, but that is the problem. The abuse of the 14th Amendment is the problem with that.
Well, there's a lot of loopholes and there's a lot of problems. But speaking from a grassroots campaign, you know, I obviously, like yourself, trying to do what I can do. That's pretty much all we can do, you know.
I just whine. I mean, you know, as a tiny YouTuber, I don't have any power or voice or speech, or, you know, whatever.
I'm with you. It's not like I'm making a second income from this. You know what
I mean? I'm not important. You know, I just say. I mean, I say the same thing on this channel that I say in person, and I don't care. I mean, I don't judge. I don't care. I just have strong opinions. And the thing is, it's like, I think people misunderstand. It's like your YouTube viewership starts going up and people think that you are somehow smarter than you are. And it's not true. I can tell, we were just talking about this before the show. I can tell all of you guys out there that no subscriber number down there underneath that little red thing means anything about how smart or good or nice or great or kind or informed somebody is. It means nothing. Trust me.
And that's sort of the misfortune of that whole situation when it comes to being a vapor viewer, especially. I think a lot of people hang on to your mentality. When I started doing reviews, I started doing it kind of out of boredom. I started doing it basically just to find something to do for pastime. I enjoyed it, and then I started realizing what the whole vape crusade was over. It's like, okay, how much do I want to attach myself to this? And I started realizing, getting into this, how do I want to do this to convey a good message, to be able to, one, review quality products in a quality way, to be able to still be myself. And I started out, dude, I started trying to be Grim Green. I started trying to be Rip Trippers. And I'm not dumping on these guys, don't get me wrong. I'm just using them as examples. These are the big boys. You know, a lot of people say, if you want to be good at something, look at somebody who's already good at it and follow them. So I tried being everybody else but myself. One of the best pieces of advice I ever got is I was doodling around on Google looking into how to be a proper vape reviewer. And I was like, okay, what are the odds of me actually finding a blog that somebody said, here's how to be a vape reviewer? But I found one, you know, and it was the woman who said, you know, I'm not going to tell you who I work for or what I do and blah, 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 but I'm a vape reviewer. It's the best piece of advice I can give anybody. Be yourself. People will follow.
Right.
One of the best pieces of advice I have ever gotten. Now, originally, I didn't think it was. Because from the get-go, you're looking at your subscribers, you're looking at your view duration, you're looking at the amount of ad revenue clicks and so on and so forth. And every morning, I'd reach for my cell phone, I'd be looking at, I get discouraged. But you realize, stop trying to be what you're not. Stop trying to convey what you know, at least personally in your heart, you don't believe in. I look at my subscriber count, I look at my view count, I look at my follow count on Instagram. And I mean, it is what it is. The number one thing people realize about me is that I'm not going to falter. If I don't know about a product, I'll do the homework on it. If somebody calls me out on it, then they call me out on it. That makes me a better reviewer. That makes me a person. But you know, it's like I'm a massively mellow individual. I'm probably one of the low-key people you'll ever meet. When people meet me in person, I am who I am. Like right now, I have my own opinions as well, but you know, as long as you stay true to that, makes me realize how bad I feel for so many people out there that have to constantly live this fake identity when it comes to either being a vape reviewer or being a personality per se. I mean, people like you and I, we go out into the public, we go to expos or we do. I'm going to want to know that people know me for the guy that they see on their computer screen. It's the same message, same person. That builds trust. That builds respect. So if you've got a message you're trying to convey past that point, is harm reduction, are they going to believe that if they don't believe that you're two totally separate individuals? No. You know, my opinion might differ from yours. My opinions might differ from somebody that I meet in an expo or this or that or the other.
That's virtually guaranteed. Hopefully. I mean, how's everyone the same? I mean, that's weird to me that everyone's the same.
We're not soldiers. You know, I mean, we're not cut from the same cloth, which is good. I kind of like that.
It feels
But
weird to me that everybody's all the same, and like every time somebody puts their name on some kind of item, as soon as you put a name on it, you're supposed to say it's great, no matter fucking what. And I just don't play that. The fucking terrible theorem, fucking Jabo fucked the donkey so hard on that thing. I've never seen things so bad, and that's what I said in my review. That's like my third most popular video. It's like almost 40,000 views. People are going, oh yeah, this thing sucks. I mean, it's like. People just don't, and the drop, which I think is good, but it's not like Jesus didn't knock on my door and say, oh, son, your parents were right. I do exist. And here's the drop. That didn't happen. It's okay. It's okay. It's easy to build on, and it kind of works okay. I don't get this line up and do what everyone says mentality that we get out of these things. I think that, we are here as vape reviewers to help people quit smoking and help them separate themselves from the bull crap in vaping with the unregulated Chinese stuff that's coming in here. They're just trying to sell you more stuff. Every new thing is not worth having. There's no point in reviewing every new clear miser tank. It's like printers. They're trying to sell you on ink. Hello, you've seen it. It's not, you don't need that. And the last thing is to create community and to be connected in a real way, like you're saying, to be really connected in a real way. Like on my show, we come every week. My girlfriend gave me some great advice when I first started. She was like, two things she told me. One was, Eli, don't ever underestimate how petty and weird people on YouTube can be. And I didn't quite believe her, but I certainly do now. And the second thing she said was that you have to make the videos you want to see. And I made a few videos that were pre-recorded, and then she said that to me, and I was like, yeah, you're right. I was comparing myself to other channels all the time. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So I finally settled on this format where I turn the camera on twice a week in the morning, earlier than anybody. And we have an hour with each other twice a week. That's what we do on this channel. That's what I do. That's what I've done for 2.5 years. That's all I do. And nobody else understands that. I could have a lot more subs if I had 10-minute videos and I did little pre-recorded reviews, but I just don't want to. And that is kind of mystifying to some people on YouTube. Like, they just don't understand that I don't have any desire to be like the other vape reviewers. I just don't want to do it. I don't know how to explain. I don't feel like I have to explain, but yet
you don't. I mean, who you are is who you are.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a different format.
I'm like spontaneous. Sorry.
Well, no, I picked up on that, brother. But your format conveys who you are. I think it what it is in a lot of ways, and we can grow and we can find different ways of trying to convey ours and the things that we believe in and the message that we try to convey. For me, it's I've been a stickler at trying to be the best that I can be, but I also have to understand my limitations. Like I said, if people call me out on something, then they call me out on it. I'm not going to deny it. That's an opportunity for me to learn. Okay, people want to know the upper diameter of the portion of where the 510 flush connector is going to be, so that they can mount the 32-inch tank on their mod device. Okay, so what do I got to do now? And I mean, dude, I've been slammed for that. One of my recent reviews has got well over 5,000 views. Was
nice.
For the GTS here from.
Oh yeah,
from
I saw that on your channel. Yeah.
Yeah. And, I mean, I busted this out. It was in general review. And I mean, a lot of people really want to know the digging deep inner ins and outs of everything like that. Sometimes I'll get fascinated about a product and I really want to dig into deep and everything like that and let them completely convey a massive message. But I got slammed by one person, and that's okay because he was really cool about it. He said, so is he going to fit a 26-inch or a 26 millimeter Addy? And I was like, I don't know. Good question. So I actually went out there and took pictures, busted out my electronic calipers, and actually measured this thing out to post onto social media and Instagram. And said, okay, there you go. There you go. I was like, okay, so those of you that actually want to know if you can mount a 26 millimeter Addy on the top of your GTS, boom, it'll work. The 510 connector is flush. It is not offset. It will definitely work because this thing beats about 32 millimeters in width. I think you're going to make it, and I mean, if that's what's going to make people happy, then fine. But, it's an opportunity for me to be at least a better reviewer. If that's going to convey a proper message, cool. As long as it's kind of mixed in with what it is I'm trying to convey. I mean,
this comes back to another important principle that I've learned myself, and that is that just from starting my channel and my relationship to the people who are viewers. And by the way, if you guys just tuned in, I'm Eli Juicy Jones, and this is JoeOfAllVapes, and we're having a little Vaping Dawn to Dusk Saturday morning interview chat session. And anything in chat, any questions you have, anything you want to say, please do. glancing at it. We're trying to read those. I was just saying that one of the most important things that I heard from, or that I learned myself from starting this channel and just my relationship with the viewers, was that you have to make a relationship with the viewers who tune in. And it is a big, big, big mistake to try to be talking to some other reviewer or some other channel. You have to look at who you are reviewing for the last person who made a comment on your channel. And that is how it works. And you have to tell the truth and you have to talk to that person. And so that's sort of what you're saying. I mean, you can't sort of abstractly just decide that I'm going to try to be, I'm going to replace Rip Trippers. That's ridiculous. I never had that ambition, but I didn't realize until I started, being really focused on, and Google helped me do this. Google told me to focus on my own interaction with my chat channel. Until I started focusing on them, I didn't realize that that's exactly who I'm making videos for you right now, watching this video for you. I love you. You could go to any other channel. I'm not competing for every other channel. I want your eyeballs, but they also watch other channels. It isn't exclusive. I don't own people that watch me, and other channels viewers watch mine. And I think that's great. I'm different. And so, but I do stuff for y'all, and I don't do it for people that I think I'm trying to hit. It's like I try to tailor it to the people who are tuned in and who do like what I'm doing.
Well, in today's mentality, especially with social media, it's very difficult to want to buy into an idealism like that. I mean, it's incredibly difficult. Like I said before, even for me, it was trying to find my own, just my own beat it's hard to do, especially when you're realizing that when it comes down to being so cookie cutter. And I found myself at fault for this before doing reviews. I'm like, and I'm showing it to my wife. She doesn't watch my reviews, but she'll watch me edit. And she's like, wow, that's pretty repetitive. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. So it's
good feedback.
The reviews that I threw in that actually had more of my own personal mentality, I've had people comment and say, you cuss a lot less than that other reviewer, or you're more personable, or say, damn, dude, you're the most low key person I've ever seen. Maybe you need to vape less, or something like that. It's just who I am. But the thing is that the interaction that I found for being truly who I am, people might like it, people might not. And I've even met people that say, you know what, you seem kind of glib, or you seem a little bit, out of touch with certain aspects of, this and that and the other. And I say, so in other words, I seem like an individual.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can pretend to be the one-stop shop of all knowledge of everything vaping, but honestly, that puts a lot of pressure on me, and I prefer to rely on the viewers. Everybody, all of you guys out there in Discord, you answer my questions. You tell me about new stuff. I'm not a god. All I am is the center of a community. We're all a big family here, and then I'm the face because I'm narcissistic and I don't mind doing all this technical work, and I have the spare time. But we have a whole bunch of people, and I don't. They tell me stuff all the time, and yeah, they send feedback. Like they told me that Brian had a bigger role in designing the drop than I gave him credit for, and so I'm fine. I'm fine being corrected for that, but I don't care that I said something. I said what I thought, and I still think that people want too much credit for putting their name on vape devices, because I know for a fact that China will just send designs to somebody and be like, we're going to put your name on this, and then you'll tell them that you want to change it, and they'll go, well, yeah, maybe, and then it'll come in beta, and it won't be changed. You'll be like, where it is, it'll ship. It's kind of, maybe they made a little change, and then your name's on it. So
well, and that's a lot of the issue with outsourcing, products like that, man. And I've really been looking into, stuff like that. Of course, I'm fiscally minded individual. I have a family. I have only so much time to be able to do what I do. Like yourself, you don't get paid for this. I don't get paid for this. Get the opportunity to make a little bit of side cash, the more the merrier. I mean, let's be honest. It wouldn't be bad to have a job that you wouldn't bring and actually get away. But
sure.
The motivation that I have to do what I do, and when I first started talking about it, my wife, and she said, I don't mind you starting a family. We're doing this and that and the other. I said two things: it's not going to break the bank, and it's not going to take time away from your family and your obligations. And that took time for me to kind of figure out. I am a guy. I'm a typical guy in a lot of respects.
I like toys,
but hey, I'm not gonna lie. But what I have created through the people that I have met, industry owners, juice manufacturers, people in China that I've worked with, just case in point,
regular people who get up every day and go to work in a job.
Exactly. I have fired more sponsors than they have fired me. So if anybody else out there besides you and me can actually understand that, that has more to
Absolutely.
do with the principle issue than it has to do with putting my name on a product that I know is going to come out, and the possible inferiority of that product speaks novels about who you are as a reviewer or a personality in the industry.
Yeah.
And I would rather be nobody than be known for a product that came out that did not convey a certain message that I personally would end up putting my name behind. That's not that, that's one of the reasons you talk about Bingo Vapes. And I mean, this is a free plug for them. I've been
Quality.
working with them since early 2015. So, I mean, before the frozen flavors, before the bakery products, when they were basically just a fairly established company in British Columbia and doing their thing. When I first started advertising for them, nobody knew who they were in the States, and then I started watching them. Okay, the UK started hitting them up, France started hitting them up, Germany started hitting them up. What am I looking at here? Am I looking at another Cosmic Fog? Am I looking at, another Charlie's Chalk Dust or so on and so forth? Not to put labels on them, but you really get to know the in-depth of an individual and who they are and the product they're trying to convey, and message, like that. I came to know them on a one-on-one basis. They are the quality that they put behind the product speaks novels for who the individual is really true.
Yeah, they're nice people. They're crazy nice.
They're really nice.
They're
people.
different.
I mean, it's one of the most understanding, chill, and business-minded individuals in this industry that I have ever met. And I pride myself on very little just to keep myself humble. And that's at the end of my reviews. At the end of every single one of my reviews, I tell everybody, stay humble, love yourself, love each other, do your thing, keep it cloudy. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And
Humility. He is wise, like Socrates, who knows he does not know.
yeah, absolutely.
That is a very scary feeling.
That I try and surround myself around are the individuals with at least enough like-minded mentality to realize this life is short. Make an ascension in a measure that when you are gone, people look back at you with reverence. And that's all I care about these. I mean, you can have fun. You want to go out and have fun, do your thing, make a little bit of money, fine. But at the end of the day, can you go to sleep knowing that you've done everything in your power to be the best at what you can do and convey a proper ethical message, if that's what you're into?
Yeah, in fact, that is the perfect segue, because I hate to say it, but we have to go. We only have like 3 more minutes. I'll tell you what, I'm going to give away a bottle of Van Gogh Vapes Cactus Janko in the show right now, in the giveaway. So you guys have about 40 seconds. Type in the words JoeOfAllVapes rocks, and whoever types that in first, you get a bottle of Cactus Janko. You can contact me after the show at JuicyJones@gmail.com, and I'll mail it to you because I have an extra one. They sent me some, and I want to give it to you. And the reason we got to go is we're almost at an hour. The segue that I was going to say is that you have to. What were you saying at the very end?
Just basically conveying a message of ethics and able to go to sleep at night.
Oh, that's right. My old friend, a silk screener, used to tell me, Eli, how do you know you're happy? And he said, and I had all kinds of answers, but he said, Eli, I know I'm happy when I can go to sleep at night.
Amen.
So that is a great thing. You can quit smoking. We love you. Thanks to JoeOfAllVapes for coming on today.
My pleasure.
Stay humble. Thank you.